So when last we did a full session because I had to cancel our thing last time. Uh, you had come to the town of Harmouth for to chase the Garalan, and you'd sort of entered the town and been caught in a couple of sort of local things. You'd seen the robot fighting at the bars. You'd heard tell of one of the tales at least, or had a discussion at least with someone from the Red Fleet. You'd met Kagan, who had, discussed where you can find the Garalan along the sea-floor, and also given you a bit, shown you a bit more of himself than you had hoped to see. You'd also done a minor sort of local job finding a ring thief, a small little beastie that had been stealing rings and precious objects to put in its nest. And you'd given most of the rings that had been available back to a sort of local rich lady named Ateth, but you also had one ring remaining, which you thought might belong to someone else. It was a synth ring with three red sort of baubles inside it that you thought matched the description of one belonging to Kagan. And Kagan also gave you a list of things that you'll need to chase the Garalan, which is in the handout there. So you will need to find a way to breathe underwater, protect yourselves from thermal vents, and also a way to get out to where you're exactly going. And he also stressed that you're not responsible in any case. He is not responsible in any cases of you becoming damaged, destructed, or dead. In that order, hopefully. So, what would you like to do? You've got a couple of things around town that you can investigate, or you can come up with another solution. What do you think?
Um, then we might as well start with what we already can get, I guess. I mean, what place was that again? Hang on. Elsto's Wharf side, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Or we can look for the method of breathing underwater.
Okay. So you move. You're at sort of the bar. You're near the Tentacles Rest, which is quite close to Elsto's Wharf side. So you enter it. It's sort of like a bait store is probably the best way of thinking of it. That sells a variety of ocean equipment and fishing stuff. But as you sort of enter in there, you realise as you open the door that the floors in the wharf side are actually slightly sunken below the level of the jetty that it's on. It's on the end of a pier. And as you walk in, you're sort of up to your shins in seawater in there. And as you walk through the various racks and rows of equipment, some of which you can identify, some of which are strange to you, some of it you're not sure what you'd even use for context of fishing, you see a man and a woman behind the counter in there. They look like a couple. The man is sort of like a burly fisherman type. He's got sort of, bulky, muscly arms and, old salt tattoos that are quite, what you expect a sailor to have. It looks like someone who's spent a lot of time around docks and on boats. Although, even though he's muscly, he's fairly thin. But what really catches your attention is his wife. So the woman behind the counter, you realise is sort of sitting on a stool, And on her top half, she sort of looks like a person, although her skin has kind of like a translucent quality. But you realise that below the waist, uh, her legs sort of splay out into a series of sort of fins and tentacles. And you see as she sort of is sitting there on this stool, she's sort of paddling her feet in the in the seawater in there. She looks quite comfortable out of the water, but you get the sense that you know water, or at least the shallows, are her preferred habitat. And you can see the sort of sign on her, sort of on the top of her chest, which is showing. And up here there are some sort of what looks like closed gills and ways of breathing underwater. But she's sort of chatting animatedly with her husband before she spies you, and then she goes, "Oh, Elsto, customers." And the man sort of turns to you and says, "Welcome to my store, gentlemen. Please peruse the wares. Is there anything I can help you with?"
Yeah, you could say that. What do you know of making one be able to breathe underwater when they couldn't previously?
When you after you say that, his wife sort of gives out a giggle and says, "Well, I'm a case in point, but I don't think you'll be going through that process yourselves."
More permanent for someone like you?
And she sort of nods her head and says, "Well, when your family has been part of the seeds of this for as long as I have, you go through certain rituals."
Hmm.
Elsto sort of looks at you and goes, "Well, what are you looking for? What sort of exploration are you doing?"
Uh, Deep sea exploration.
"Deep sea? Well, that changes your options a little bit. Deep sea, you'll need more than just a mechanical breathing apparatus. You'll need something a little bit more in depth." He sort of looks over his equipment and he goes, What sort of deep sea? Warm water, cold water?
Uh,
this part of
pre-
the ocean or
Pretty
far ocean?"
warm water.
"Pretty warm."
Yes, as in one other thing we'll need to look into as well is protection from heat, because what we're looking for is near thermal vents.
Near the vents? What are you looking for near vents?
Um, a substance called Garalan.
Garalan. Have you checked with the herbalists?
Unfortunately, it looks like it's only available at the bottom of the sea, where near thermal vents are.
Kagan told us of it.
Yep.
Oh, Kagan. Yeah, he's a regular customer. Although, to come to think of it, I'd never seen him out on the boats. Well, look, I can help you with the water breathing, and you're looking for protection as well.
That's right, yes.
Okay, look, well, I'll start with the protection. And he sort of starts digging around in various racks and various cabins, and he says, "Okay," and he pulls out what looks like a tube or something, and also like a large dive suit. He says, "You've got two options for protection from underwater. Basic protection, this provides. First up is this dive suit," and he pulls out a sort of quite bulky and heavy sort of armoured dive suit. It says, "Look, this will protect you. It's pretty heavy, but this will keep you free from heat and cold, and it'll also help you control your buoyancy and air pressure. If you're going that deep, you'll need to be able to control the pressure in your lungs. You don't want to really pop. That would bring your diving adventure to a rapid conclusion."
Mm.
The other option I've got for you here, anyway, that the dive suit is 50 shins.
Hmm.
The other option I've got for you, and he brings that tube and he says, this doesn't really have a name, but the locals sometimes call it bubble wrap. They think it's clever, some old world reference. You slather this over yourself and it forms a tight seal. Offers buoyancy, pressure control, and protection from the elements for about 5 hours. And so that'll be 20 shins.
I think the bubble wrap suit we could actually do because I'll actually look to Ellendar and thinking with the submersible, we're going to need much less time than 5 hours if we manage to get most of the way there.
Well, we do need a submersible before we get there first, and I don't know where we're gonna store this bubble wrap stuff.
Wait, you gents don't know how you're getting out to the deep.
Not
Well, we got
yet.
told that we need a submersible, but I'm not sure how much it's gonna set us back, or whether or not we can actually get one that'll take us that far down.
Well, you're probably not talking a submersible per se. I mean, you can dive down there, but if you talk to one of the red fleeters, they might have something that can bring you to depth. Other than that, well, there is in the market there, you could buy a boat always, or you might want to go down to the docks and see what you can find.
There's definitely some options. Yeah,
Anyway, diving though is
downsides. Yeah, sorry, go.
well, diving. There's plenty of folk around here do it. A lot of them also use other little tools with them. There's some that'll help you propel yourself along. And he pulls out sort of another little tin and goes, well, this is webbing that you can spray across your hands. Give yourself a bit of an advantage swimming. Weapons sometimes don't work underwater. If you're going down that deep, who knows what's down there? And then he pulls out a pair of goggles and he says, these the locals call fish eyes. They help you with your visibility underwater. Now, this is all going to cost. How will you gents be paying for all of this?
Question.
Mm-hmm.
This is actually in character asking question.
Yep.
I kind of sort of try and politely sort of gesture to the wife in terms of her whole get up with the gills and the fins and stuff like that. How much for that procedure?
She sort of looks you up and down and says, this isn't a temporary procedure. This isn't an affectation. This is a permanent modification.
You can breathe the air, can you not?
Well, I can breathe above the water and below the water, yes. Although even I wouldn't venture that deep.
Well, if I had gills, I wouldn't need one of these gigantic suits things. I just need something to do with the pressure. Tell me, Elsto, do you have something to deal with that? Just the pressure and the heat.
That's what the suits are, right?
Well, that's the bubble wrap will deal with the. So the diving suit basically is a big set of armor that is pressurized. The bubble wrap is a temporary thing. They won't let you breathe. You'll need to do breathing in another way.
That's the thing. I can solve the problem of my needing to breathe underwater right now. I, Elsto, would like to get that procedure. I would like to get that whole thing.
What?
He sort of looks at his wife, and she sort of looks back at him, and he turns to you and says, "Oh, look, to do that, you'd have to talk to her family, and I don't talk to her family." And she sort of rolls his eyes, and she goes, "My family's fine, just because you don't get on with them." And he's like, "Look, when your mother-in-law's part squid, you have disagreements. I'll tell you what might be the best way to go. Their rituals they guard quite deeply. But if you have a talk to them, and then there's a man in town, that herbalist I was talking for, he's a man named Frund. He might be able to whip you up some sort of concoction that'll let you emulate, but it won't come cheap. It might provide a temporary effect. I don't know what his I don't know how he'll work it, but he'd be the man to talk to. And I suppose I can have a discussion with the mother-in-law and see what we can do with you."
I'm going to be honest here. I do not really have a lot of money, so if this procedure is going to be free, then I volunteer.
Well, you'd have to talk to Frund about that, but I don't think it's going to be real cheap.
Mm. Yeah, it's unfortunate, a bit lower money as well. Getting this suit will actually almost put me broke. I don't think we're going to have enough for renting a submersible as well. That's the problem I'm seeing right now. Unless I sell a few things.
Unless there's treasure at the bottom of the sea.
We
Need
did
the money
get
now, not
money
later.
from getting the rings, did we not?
Yeah, but with that, I'm actually only at 57 total
I'm
myself.
at 50 total myself, so
Yeah, so I'm guessing those suits are 50 shins each as I look to the shopkeep.
we only need one person, I volunteer, to brave the depths and punch fish in the face.
Solo, huh? Actually, you won't actually technically be solo. I can send Zipper to give you support.
And Zipper
I can
survived
throw
that sort of-
Zipper at fish in the face. Perfect.
Well, Zipper was going through the water with us just fine. He didn't seem to take any damage or anything like that.
Yes, the robot is waterproof.
I'm less concerned about the water aspect, but also the fact that, from what everyone's saying, thermal vents are hot. Also,
Then I'll
thermal
give Zipper the bubble wrap.
I'll punch the thermal vents in the face. Easy.
I think it all comes down to we need more money.
Probably.
Where's the nearest brothel? I can prostitute myself for cash.
And Elsto looks at you and goes, "Look, you look like a couple of adventurous folk. There is one thing you might be able to do. The Red Fleet is always looking for fellas to do odd jobs. And if you're if you're willing to risk well, probably life and limb, they might be the fellas to have a chat to."
Well, it's an option. It's just unfortunate. It means we're going to be spending more time when we probably don't have that much left. But yeah, there you go. It's the situation we're in.
Well, I don't fear death. I would volunteer for any jobs they give me. Unless it involves fireflies. Damn fireflies.
Did fireflies kill your parents?
No. Don't be ridiculous.
They merely maimed them.
Uh,
But Yes. I suppose we best go speak with either the Red Fleet or someone who would have a submersible. I believe Kagan mentioned something about a Stastin, where the hell he is.
That's it.
Hmm.
Sorry, I'm just reminding myself of that name.
Is that the guy you talked to in the bar? Or was that someone
I'm
else?
literally reading that from the note.
Okay.
Oh, Staston. No, Staston is the doc.
Oh
Sorry.
yeah, that's right.
Right. Yeah. No. It's the Staston is just the general boat doc. He has boats for sort of rent.
Oh, he just has boats. Okay. In that case, Red Fleets.
Yeah. So you can. Elsto sort of looks. You go. Yeah, Staston. He'll rent your boat, but it won't come cheap. But there is some other options, and he sort of leans closer and goes, Staston owes money around the town, so if you've got anyone who can, you can call on for a favour, I'm pretty sure Staston will be in hock to them.
Okay.
Other than that, you've been to the Tentacles Rest, where there was at least one red fleeter.
I imagine they have a boat in the harbour. Or boats.
The red fleets?
Yeah.
Yeah, there are a couple of red fleet vessels around that are available. So you can. There are a couple of red fleeters, a couple of their vessels. There's also Stassins, or you can. There is a boat shop in the market.
I don't think we can afford buying a boat.
Even renting one's going to be costly for us, I believe.
Well, you can probably afford something. It'll just be a loose definition of boat.
It's a dinghy.
See these sea.
If we got
sea
lost, we could
turtles?
spend 6 months in a leaky boat.
Mm. So you were saying about that?
At any rate, I kind of sort of not so much. I sort of moved towards the counter, just like my volunteer offer is still on the table. Just FYI. But yes, we shall go and attempt to acquire ourselves some more funding.
And he sort of looks at me and he says, "Oh look, well I can have a chat to Frund, but and we'll see if we can work something out."
I'm totally okay with a permanent solution if that's required.
Well, if you come back in a few hours, we'll see what we can do.
I'll be back later then.
So you move back out from Elsto's. Where would you like to go from here? So you've got a couple of options. You can look at boats for purchase down near the sort of market area. You can go and lean on Sasson, or you can go back into the Tentacles Rest and see if you can chase up anyone from the Red Fleet.
Hmm.
Or you can try another option if you've got another option.
I don't suppose there's like a in this harbour town of Harmouth there isn't something like a job board or like hired help wanted or something like that.
There's not a job board per se, but you could quite easily have a chat around and see what you can, see what scuttlebutt you can find.
I currently have very minimal shins, so I will I will go around. I'll tell both Blargs and Scrapper, as well as Zipper, that I'm going to go look around, see if I can drum up some more coin. I'll be back in a little bit.
Okay, so you walk around the town and you sort of start keeping your ear out. You run into the that watchman that you'd met with yesterday, and he sort of waves to you and greets you for the day. You also, as you're wandering around, the market's sort of gearing up for the day. There's people setting up, pushing up various wares. The market is sort of not far from Elsto's. Some of them are right on the shore, and have various sort of pots sitting in the water that you can pull out, and have a variety of sort of living seafood or other sea-drenched oddities in. There's one guy there with a couple of small boats, as Elsto indicated. But various, the various vendors are sort of looking at you and greeting you and just showing you their wares as they set up and asking you what you think and what you'd, if there's anything you're searching for in the market.
Oh, they're asking me something like
One
that.
of them sort of hails you and one of them sort of hails you and sort of starts chatting to you. He's selling what looks like a variety of sort of spears and other sort of heavy fishing equipment that he's also got laid out, and he's got a grindstone behind where he's sort of sharpening a sort of hook blade while he talks to you and says, "So, anything from my wares that you're looking for?"
Not just yet, but I'm looking to get out on the water quite soon, except I appear to be lacking a very critical component. Do you know where I can hire a boat?
A boat? Well, have you talked to, have you had a talk to Saston?
Not yet. I was hoping for something a little bit cheaper.
Well, there is one option that could. How much are you looking to spend?
Minimal?
He sort of gestures with, he puts aside the grindstone and gestures with his spear to one of the vendors over near the other side. And he says, "That's Waivers over there. You chat to Waivers. I know he's got some push boats available, but where are you going? How far are you looking to travel?"
I believe it was, yes, I'm looking to go 6 days out to sea.
And he sort of, so he goes, 6 days. Well, I suppose you can push boat, but I hope you like cranking.
Sure, we got someone who enjoys cranking.
I might have I might talk to Waivers a bit. Thank you. When I get some more money, I'll be back and purchase a spear off you.
Yeah, I might do the same thing.
And he sort of
Because
holds the
crossbows are
his head
useless
sort of like
underwater.
tips his hat and says, "Well met, gentlemen." So you go over to the stall indicated. It's someone sort of right on the shoreline, and they've got a number of sort of things behind them, little vessels. But then he says, the guy sort of gets your attention and says, "Oh, welcome, gentlemen. You are looking for a vessel of some description? I am Waivers."
Yes. We need a boat. Preferably a cheap boat.
Aye, boat. You're trying to impress a lady? You are going to take her rowing around the bay?
Well, I point to Scrapper. Well, he has a certain lady friend who might be inclined for such an arrangement. But no, we need something to go deep sea
Ah.
diving.
A deep sea. Well, I sell push boats. You could take them deep sea. It would be a dangerous journey, but the price would be very good for you. I do you a special deal.
I kind of look a little bit just like, guys, I don't know what boat we need.
Hmm.
Here, I will show you. I will show you to my vessel. This is a fine vessel, and he sort of brings you out the dock and moves you out of it. And one that's a small little vessel that's about 6 meters long, and it's sort of got a sort of wide back and a sort of flat bottom, a slight little sort of overhang, over a control console. So it's open, but it's not like totally exposed. And he says, "This is a push boat. So for a push boat, you crank, yes. That is, you do the labor, but they're very fast. They're very efficient. Even when he sort of looks blood up and it says, even the landlubber like yourself will sail this very easily if you know where you're going. For this one, I can do you a special price. This is a old reliable one. This is very good. This one I do to you. You purchase for 25 shins.
What about if we wanted to just rent it?
Oh, I am not a rental service. See, all sales are final, and especially if you
Right.
say you are going out to sea in it, I would never get, but I would never get the full rental of that. Eh?
Totally fair.
They're very good vessels,
Really
but
going- Yeah.
they're not designed for deep ocean. You could do it, but as we say, no guarantees. Once you buy the boat, it is your boat. I am not responsible for what you do with your boat.
It's still a long way down if we're just going to be swimming from there.
We have a very nice beach here. You can swim here. It's very nice. Your lady, you take the push boat, you go down the coast like 20 minutes, you find a lovely secluded beach for your lady.
No. It's not what we need the boat for. We're planning on going.
Oh, sorry. I am very sorry. For your gentleman, you find lovely beach. 20 minutes. Just 20 minutes sail in your boat. Okay, I am still very sorry for your. I don't make judgment for whatever you try romance. 20 minutes, even if it's a cake from the, even if it's a cake from the fields, you try romance. It's very nice. 20 minutes.
Do you have anything that can also go underwater, or have you only got top seafaring?
I would not be a very good boat salesman if my boats go under the water. My boats stay on top of the water. That is a guarantee. That I will guarantee. But unless you do something stupid, they stay above the water.
I don't know. Allendar, I don't know if this is really what we could get. I mean, I know options limited, but I don't think we can really just try sinking to the bottom of the ocean after we get to where we need to go.
Well, we need a boat. We need some way of getting underwater. We have some way of breathing underwater, and then we also need some way of getting back out from underwater. This is very expensive.
I know. It's just-
Okay. Old haggle technique. Learnt it in a brothel. Good deal. We're gonna go look at other things. I wink at them. really obviously, really obviously, and start walking away.
Hey, bye, sir.
Oh god.
And just looks at the other two and go, I'm very sorry, was it his lady friend that you buy this pot for? Surely a man like that have a lady friend with those muscles.
Well, I'm not gonna lie. He's had relationship problems. This would be a really good way to get him back into the good books with that girl's family. But,
Oh, she live around here? Maybe you know. Maybe we know her.
she doesn't. She lives to the east of here.
Oh, the east. I know people back east. Where do you come from?
Well, that guy got hitched at Barrowtown. That's where his lady friend
Oh,
lives.
I have heard the stories about Battletown. He did not touch one of their daughters in the Milltown, did he?
I got no idea what the hell happened over there. All I know is that suddenly the guy was married, so...
Oh, yes, I've heard of that happening to many an unsuspecting traveler. Most people know the stories about Milltown. I'm surprised that people still fall for that one.
We go around the world quite a lot, so it's kind of hard to keep tabs on everything that's going on in every city.
I see. Anyway, so look, that is the boat. It is here. You know, I will be here all day. You know, you maybe come back. We come to a deal, okay? You let him think about it.
I think we shall. Might as well see what all our options are first before we make the decision. And it was just a side glance to Ellen. I was like, hopefully something that might just fit our requirements just a little more.
We should go speak to the Red Fleet. That's it. They're adventurers. They must have good boats.
Aren't you buddies with them now?
I don't know. Are you buddies with someone you had a few drinks with and then left?
Nah, I don't make that many friends, as you might have noticed.
Alright. Listen. I kind of reach into my pack and I actually draw the scepter, the Queen's scepter, and I give it to Elendar. It's just like, I'm not good at this. You're probably better with this. It's a good thing. There's a reason why I don't have a lot of money.
That's probably something we can do with Staston, maybe? And it's just enough so that we can actually just borrow a ship and bring it back. As long as he can trust in us saying that we will return it.
Fear not, I have a plan for Staston.
Ah!
No.
You already
That's
walked
more-
out.
No, that's more. Well,
I yelled it back.
yeah. To be fair, that's more than I have. So I'm gonna listen to this plan.
Well,
no. The plan's no fun if you know it beforehand.
well, you seem to have a way of speaking with the sailors. So we try to strike up a rapport with them. And then try to sort of sweet talk them into letting us borrow a submersible for explorative purposes, just for about a week or two, while we try to get this thing done, and then we can just bring it back to them like nothing ever happened.
Or
Then after that, all we'll need is just the other supplies from Elsto's.
Or we say we're debt collectors and demand money from him and flex muscles.
Remember, we got to come back to this town after we're done. Remember, otherwise, you know.
Muscles. Yes.
Also, not to be a damp or anything, but I don't know how to.
Ocean joke.
I don't actually know how to sail. Do either of you?
You point yourself and go.
Well,
Easy.
a boat is just another kind of machine. Give me enough time and I can try to figure it out.
Listen, my current number one plan is that I'm going to get changed into a squid thing, so I got nothing.
And that's a permanent thing, by the way. You're not coming back if that's what happens.
Hey, if as long as I can breathe above water, I'll be fine.
So you're fine having fish fins and squid legs for the rest of your life.
The fish fins were not my hands, correct?
Well,
No,
it
was it the
wasn't.
feet?
It wasn't Elsto's wife's hands.
I'm willing to take that risk. Also, if my legs do degenerate, and transform into fishy bits, I hover.
So you're offering fish. Offering half fish man.
Your skin will get very dry.
Yeah. We'll have to keep getting water and dunking you with it.
I'll be fine.
Just really weird. You're wishing to throw all that away just for something that's not even really your business to make, really, is it? We're doing this because we're trying to help a friend. You're here just along for the ride, and you're willing to give up your legs for this?
Honestly,
to be fair, it'd be hilarious.
Honestly, it's also about new experiences.
Not at this cost for me, personally.
I'm willing to take that chance.
Alright, so... Okay, so you can take Blargs down with the suit. Zipper can support. Then that leaves me, I guess. There's still a problem of getting us there on time without having to swim all the way there, and I really doubt it's going to be near the coast.
That's it. If we get a boat, and then we got a submersible thing, you can be in the submersible, I'll be fishy squid mode, and Blargs can be in his iron suit. Perfect.
So...
You hear a call
wonder
from the
if I actually
nearby
get a
master.
lesson.
That is a very nice tune, my friend.
Passed down in my family for generations.
You serenade your lady with that one?
All the time. I like to thrust to it.
She's a lady of discerning taste, I am sure.
Yes. Yeah, who knows? Maybe I would actually get a lesser price to hire the submersible if they think it's just me using it. Maybe they've got like a one-man one, and then the two of you can just hang on to the sides. It's a possibility, I think. But then we won't know until we actually go and check it out.
I think before we do anything, we either need to convince someone to let them on their boat, or we have to pay someone. In any case, we don't have a lot of money.
Well, if I'm not going to be going out there with a suit or anything like that, I've got 50 plus shins to rent us a submersible then. When the two of you have got what you need to deal with everything from in the water. Will that be enough?
I'm going to be honest, I have less shins than I have fingers.
Oh. Okay. Yeah, but that transformation you're saying is what they were saying was free, right?
I hope so.
No.
You said you needed to talk to. You needed to talk to the guy, the herbalist. You needed to talk to Frond.
Not the family of the squid wife.
No, he was going to talk to the squid wife. You needed to talk to Frond because the squid wife's family were not going to necessarily bring in an outsider.
Okay.
Well, he didn't know. He was going to talk to him while you
Shall
were
we
off.
check?
Check
Shall we check that out first then? You can ask.
Yes, let's do that. That's at least something. Then we'll need to think about. We'll speak to one of the Red Fleet people.
Okay.
Okay, so you ask around about Frund, and as you ask around about him, you get sort of various sort of dismissive snorts, or people just rolling their eyes and saying, "Oh, Frund," and he'll sort of point you out to the edge of town, back up the hill where you'd come down past where they were logging near the paper mills. They point you to a shack, a sort of shack up there that's set apart from the others. And as you near the shack, you can smell, sorts of sour and, bitter smells and these odors coming out of it. And you notice, you can hear sort of activities in there. You can hear cursing in there as you approach this part rundown shack. Just as you approach what you're pretty sure must be Frund's shack, given what you've been told, there's sort of you hear a whoomph, and you start to see some smoke curling sort of out from the door frame and out the sort of chimney and through an open window, until it's all broken by someone going, "Not again!" Arrgh! And you see the doors sort of open, and a guy sort of come out, and he's sort of patting at his hair and at his arms, and trying to pat something out on his sleeve. He's wearing sort of a dirty brown, sort of thick brown robe that looks like he's got sort of a pair of goggles on over his eyes. He pulls up onto his head, and you can sort of see smoke marks on his face. And as he pulls his goggles up, he sort of blinks and looks at you, and you see him sort of straightens up and straightens his robe and says, "Welcome to my place. What can the almighty Frund help you with? Speak, mortals."
This man seems very smart.
I implicitly
Frund
trust what he
knows
says.
the arcane secrets of this entire area. And then he sort of just stares at you, and then he
You're
"Well,
right,
mortal,
Amanda.
Oh, Frond.
yes, my child, you have come here to pay tribute to my mighty intelligence? And have you brought food?"
Listen. I don't have food. I don't really have money, but I would like to ask your help.
Frund is merciful, but Frund does not work for free. What kind of help?
I've heard you can transform people into wondrous sea creature-y things.
I have been known to work in, the genetic arts from time to time. I have been known for mutants, but Frund is really hungry, so Frund would need payment up front.
I would like to... Sorry, would Frund like payment on the ground or in the house?
Frund would like to know why you are seeking this.
Screw it. I open up part of my pack and I show him my probably salty, dry ration biscuits, whatever food I have. I'm just like, I have some of this. I need you to transform me into a squid man.
A squid man. And Frund sort of looks at your pack and takes out one of the ration biscuits and just starts chewing it without asking. Says, Frund will consider your... Frund still prefers this to dried fish. Frund will consider your plight. Why? But why does one seek to be transformed into a squid man? Is it for a woman? Because you know there's a beach about 20 minutes down the coast. Very lovely.
It's more a case of I need to go diving deep below the sea.
Deep below? Why?
Scrapper? The Garaland thing?
Yeah, we're looking for a substance called Garaland down at the bottom of the sea.
Oh, go then. Yeah, I've got some of that.
Wait, you've got some?
Oh, a little bit.
How much is a little bit?
And he sort of, well, and he sort of takes the ration back inside and he goes back and he comes out with a really small vial. Says, yeah, it's not really used for much. How much do you need? Guppy, you know that the quantity that developer asked for was a lot more than that.
Shit. I was afraid of that. In terms of how much more in terms of quantity, is it like 10 times, 20 times, 50 times what?
Well, she sort of said, a couple of a decent handful or two. Whereas this is like a little vial's worth. He goes, yeah, Frond has come by this. You know, it's not cheap. How much do you offer for this? Is that what you need?
I'll need a lot more than that, though. Can you get more?
Frond's supplies have been disrupted of late.
How have you been collecting it, if I might ask?
Oh, well, I used to go on... Frond has mysterious ways. Frond has braved the depths. Except last time I went there, they were being jerks.
Well, we can deal with jerks. What if we got some more for you? What could you give us to help us get down there and pick it up?
Well, look, my collection, I've collected it out there. I had a deal with one of the things that live down there, but lately I've communicated with them. It's all Morag, something like that. I don't know, some big hoodoo thing that's moved in down Moyag. Some big hoodoo thing that's moved into the deep down there, and it's not letting outsiders in. Cut off my supply of Garaland. But I have other things.
Unfortunately, this is what I need right now. So you've been getting sent to you from one of the creatures that you've been communicating with down there. So you're not using like a submersible or anything like that to meet them now?
Oh, I go out in a boat. I just hire one from down the docks.
And one comes up to the surface.
Look, Stasta owes me money, and you can get a boat off them really easy.
Interesting. Is he that strapped for money these days? Or shins?
Well, less about being, heavily in debt, just being in debt to the wrong people.
Ah.
But Frond is above such petty concerns. Frond is here, looking into the mysteries of our world. Anyway, you, fella, and he looks at Ellender. You said you'd like gills.
Yes.
He sort of looks you up and down and goes, well, if we can get a genetic sample from where you like, I could come up with a decoction for you. Ingredients aren't cheap, and Frond needs Frond's cut. I could probably give you something that'll give you that effect for a couple hours, maybe a day. No, probably a day. That'll cost you about 30 shins. Purely on a cost recovery basis, you understand.
Do you accept payment in food?
Not if it's more of those ration cakes.
Well, sorry to disappoint you, Front, but I'm basically broke.
I'll do you a deal. That Garalan I use in a number of my investigations. You get me, and he sort of ducks back to his house and comes out with a little, a jar that's about the size of, it's probably a 300-400 ml jar. He says, you bring me back that filled with Garalan, and it'll all be settled. Now, because I know you're going out there to get Garalan for yourself, I know that you won't, screw me over. Because frankly, if you're insane enough to go out that deep, you might not come back anyway. So even then, I won't have lost too much.
How big's this, jar? Like a jam jar?
Yeah, like a jam jar.
I really need to get one of those too so I can actually store it. That or I grab it and stuff it in the pockets.
I don't suppose you know some more permanent way of potentially breathing underwater?
Well, you could get a... have you tried Elstos?
Yes, we've tried Elstos.
They weren't exactly that cheap enough.
Well, that's because people like you and me weren't meant to breathe underwater. Although, of course, I can do it because I am Frond and very powerful. I just choose not to at this time.
Front seems very honest. I think we should trust him and do what he says. I can't imagine someone like him lying.
Front, that Garalan stuff, how much did you get last time?
Well, I only ever use a small sample that I trade for with the people of the sea. They're not great conversationalists, but if you have the right materials for them, they'll trade.
You know what? Fine. This jar, this will be filled to the brim with Garalan. If you give me something to allow me to breathe underwater, when we get back, and we will get back, I'll give this brimming full of Garalan and bring it back to you.
Deal. So what I'll need is I will have to go off and tinker with a formula. But I'll also need a genetic sample from what you're trying to emulate. I'll warn you though, Frond is informed that this concoction hurts like buggery when it kicks in.
I'm sure you can handle that.
what he said. I'm sure I can answer that.
Do you have a spare jar? Actually, now that you mention it.
He goes and sort
Just
of rummages. He goes and sort of rummages back around at his things. He goes, "Here is a jar."
Great, thank you. I actually just toss him a shin for that.
Ah, thank you. This will buy me some seasoning for the dried fish. Thank you.
You're quite welcome. Anything to make it better.
And for a second, you just sort of see a pained look in his eyes and goes, "A man can hope."
It's just going to be that much for us. Yeah, basically that jar's going to be for ourselves. When we've got the other jar, that'll be for you, rather than having to fight over it later.
Yes. Although I feel as though we haven't accomplished anything by talking to Frund.
I wouldn't say that. You found a good enough deal to have the method to breathe underwater?
I don't know. I don't know. Do you guys want gills?
Not exactly something I'm thinking of doing. I'm actually just thinking of being the one to pilot the submersible and bring you guys down there while you guys go pick it up. I'll have Zipper helping you, of course. But gills, not something I was thinking I was ever giving myself in my lifetime. My hopes were one day more mechanical upgrades, not organic ones.
Some people I knew once gave someone gills, but that was a very different experience.
I'm not sure if I want to ask.
I have no idea what he's talking about either, but anyway.
Cutting someone's throat.
Oh, that's kind of gill. The one that doesn't work.
Aye.
Well, it lets you breathe like water in. It just doesn't let you breathe it back out very well.
Yeah, that's pretty true. Okay, well, I think we pretty much got what we really came for here. Is there anything else you want to ask?
Well, I know I need to head back to Elsto's because I apparently need a genetic sample.
That'd probably be easier to get than talking to the talking to the in-laws, actually, to be honest, because it doesn't sound like it's a very happy relationship there. It actually might be easier to get. I mean, genetic sample aren't they usually just a small, just like a scale or something that you might need?
I don't know. Oh, yes, I have an idea. Frund!
Yes, mortal.
If you are so great and mighty and powerful, can you conjure money?
Frund has moved past a need to conjure money for himself, and Frund frankly thinks you should stop being a scabby bastard.
I was just snickering as he mentioned the whole conjuring money. I was thinking, you gotta be serious.
Alright, in that case, Frund, you must know who the richest person in town is, surely.
A Lady Ateth, I believe, is from one of the most rich families in town, but they are the ones that care about such material things.
Guys, I have a plan.
Is it cunning?
Maybe?
Okay, let's hear it.
I like to call it wealth redistribution. We go in and steal it. We go in and steal Lady Athos' wealth and then buy ourselves a boat with it and then leave.
Do you realize if they find out if we actually did that, then we might not be able to get back into town without getting captured?
But by then we'd have a boat. We can go anywhere with a boat.
And how are you going to give back the jar of Garalan if we can't go back there?
Oh, he doesn't intend to.
I didn't say that exactly because I know Frond is standing right there.
Just, yeah, I'm not really that keen to this plan.
Alright, in that case. Oh, great and mighty Frond.
Speak, mortal.
Do you know where we can get some more money through legitimate means?
He sort of eyes all three of you and, eyes on Bark. Well, this gentleman here could sell the pleasures of the flesh. Beyond that, there is, I'm sure there's someone in town who can, occupy you with more mortal affairs. There's those gentlemen from the fleet who I occasionally notice poking around the ocean, sticking their nose into matters beyond their ken, but they are not as mighty as Frond in terms of understanding the ocean's secrets.
Alright. Thank you, great and mighty Frond. We'll stop bothering you now.
Frond will return to his investigations, and Frond eagerly waits your return with the genetic samples.
Yes, we'll do that.
Do you want to do that first?
Not really.
Or do you want to go to the docks first? So pretty much the last things we need right now.
The fleet. Let's go speak to the fleet.
Okay. Alright.
And yeah. Tell me to shut up if I'm talking too much, because I feel like I botched. I angered the great Frond.
Well, I don't see yourself being struck by lightning. I'm sure you'll be fine.
Yeah, the sense
Great
you get
Frond.
from Frond is less. You're not sure how much of it is actually him just being a charlatan.
Yeah.
Well, you can't have pissed him off that much. You made a deal with him. For no money. That's not exactly, that wouldn't be actually easy to do, especially someone who's eager to try and get money for buying food.
If only I could sell more food and get more money that way. Yes. But anyway, let us return back to the harbour. I think the Red Fleet seems to be the people we need to speak to.
Yeah, if anyone's going to know, it's going to be them, I think. I mean, yeah. I think that's pretty much where we're going to go because, yeah, I'm not really that high with the checking out with Staston because he might not have anything that is submersible at all. He's probably just got stuff like dinghies and Just boats that float, not boats that can sink and float intentionally.
Because there are other options. You could look at something like a diving bell.
Oh yeah, I forgot that's a thing.
That was
Takes
only
someone
So
to see
you
what-
you head back into the town towards the Tentacles Rest because you know that's where the Red Fleet that's sort of the Red Fleet hangout. And you head back in there and past the bouncer who eyes you again. He sort of remembered you talking back to him a little bit last time, but he still lets you in with a grunt. You go in there and the place is still pumping. You haven't been in here once when the place hasn't been. It seems to be a 24-hour job. Fishermen coming on and off shift, and the robot fights, the duality fights going on all day. And you find a couple of sailors with the Red Fleet mark up at the bar, and they sort of eye you as you come in, and then go back to their drinks at the bar.
That Ieza person isn't here, is he?
He is not currently there, no.
Good. Scrapper, Blogs. Who do we talk to? They're all red fleets. I don't know who's in charge.
So we just approach them all. Just have it as an open question of the floor and what we can ask. No, they're all just gathered together, right?
Oh, look, there's a sort of patch of them near the bar. There's a couple in other places, but there's no, they all look more like grunts. They're not.
Okay. So there's no
There's
one
no-
of them that's more decorated than the rest of them or anything like that?
Oh, you might have a lieutenant or something, but you don't have a captain.
Right, okay. I say just prod one of them and ask that like where their captain might be, because we had some business to discuss with them. Maybe.
So you move up to the bar and talk to a couple of sailors and find the lieutenant there, and they sort of ask you what you're after, and you explain to them you're looking to talk to someone about the boat. And the lieutenant who's a couple of drinks in at this point, just sort of looks and goes, "Well, there's two captains here in town at the moment. There's either Captain Ieza or there's Captain Stritney. Both of them, I'm sure, would be pleased to take your business. Just make sure that whichever one you do go with isn't. Make sure that whichever one you do go with, the other one doesn't get wind of it, because they can be quite competitive."
Okay. Thanks for the warning. I'll just say, yeah, Ieza was a name we've heard before. Think we should try him?
He said a lot last night. Seemed to have travelled very far afield and a great treasure hunter and stuffs.
Surely he must have a lot of resources at his disposal. For someone like that.
He had a lot of admirers, that's for certain.
Yeah, so maybe he can point us in the right direction of what we need. What kind of vessel that we can get, and maybe he knows one that exists.
Yeah, sounds like a plan. Out of curiosity, what time of day is it?
It's now probably sort of around midday, because you sort of went to Elsto's early in the morning, and then sort of trudged to the outskirts of town and back in. So it's around lunchtime.
might as well head see if we can find this Captain Ieza. Maybe grab a snack on the way there.
Well, you've got a bag full of rations.
You can try hunting for that amphibian that likes to steal rings if you're really hungry.
I'm not feeling that very croaky today.
So you follow the directions. The lieutenant sort of has directed you to a ship down at the far end of the docks. It's actually it's not so much in the docks. It's actually moored at the other end of town, in the one of the areas that had once been underwater. Iaeza's vessel is a submarine, which is sort of halfway between a submarine and a top of the water vessel. And so it's sort of designed to operate just as well on top of the water and on bottom of the water. It's about sort of 40 feet long. It's got a crew. And it's mostly transparent around it, and it acts as it's a sort of a tube with a central round bulge in the middle of it. I will find you do I have a picture? No, I don't have a picture. And as you approach it, Iaeza's sort of sitting on the dock, smoking a pipe, and he spots you approach, and he says, "Ah, gentlemen, you've just arrived in town. I was telling a story," and he sort of, has a couple of crew members around, and he sort of looks at them and he goes, "Anyway, so I was talking to Quell. Now, Quell, you remember, you'll know him when I finish the story. We were deeper in a ruin, and Quell had found an item that he thought was some sort of jetpack. And now, Quell was never a bright spark, and had a bit of an inclination to rush into things. Anyway, Quell grabs this jetpack thing and straps it on, and before any of us can say anything, activates it and starts flitting about the room. Except Quell, you know who I'm talking about now, and he points to one of the guys. Quell had neglected to remember one very important piece of information about jetpacks. With jetpacks, you always need to protect your calves. And now you know the tale of Stumpy Quell." Anyway, gentlemen, what can I do for you on this fine day? He takes a couple of puffs of his pipe.
Well, Scrapper,
Yeah.
you know more about what we need to do.
Okay. Iaeza, I mean, tell us, have you ever had any sort of adventures down to the bottom of the ocean before?
The ocean's a mighty big place, and I've explored a lot of it. You're going to have to be more specific. And he sort of starts laughing, and the people around it sort of start laughing as well.
Let's say, what's a good way of actually putting this? Where there are heat vents and specific substances there that are guarded by creatures of the sea called Garalan. Have you ever heard of it before?
And he sort of takes his pipe out for a second and sort of considers you with an eye, and he says, "You mean in the deeps?
Correct.
You're looking to talk with the creatures down below on the vents. Well, that's a look. It's certainly a task."
What, so you've never actually done it before yourself? You never wondered what might be down there?
Look, lad, I've sailed all over the oceans, and I know that part of the ocean is where they talk about Moyag.
Yes.
And any sailor worth his tar will know the tales of Moyag, and Moyag is not to be messed with. So it's best to steer clear. I have heard of late that there's been a bit of activity out near the vents. Apparently a big storm that doesn't seem to be shifting.
Yes, we heard of that as well. Do you know anything about why that's happening?
Oh, look, the world is a mysterious place, but it is unusual for an ocean storm to stay in one spot.
Hmm. Okay. Actually, yeah, we are actually looking towards buying either a vessel. Basically, we're trying to find a means of actually getting down towards the deeps ourselves, because the Garaland we need to save a friend.
Well, we could certainly do it in the submachine here. It's rated to very deep depth, but oh look, it could be part of our ongoing scientific mission. It'll still cost you a little bit in fuel for us to get out there, but that's something we could come to some sort of arrangement on.
Oh yeah? What price range are you looking at?
And he sort of puffs on it and he sort of regards you up and down and he goes, well, it'd be me, I'd be piloting it, and my crew would be with me. Be probably 10 shins each, on the one proviso that anything that we find down in the deeps there, we at least get a look in at. You can have your substance, but anything else that you find down there, we'd have to take for scientific purposes, of course.
As in intentions for each of us to go down, you mean?
Well, 10 shins to get you out there, This crew doesn't come cheap. And he sort of puffs his pipe again and says, oh, these buggers will eat through that in a couple of days, but, if you know exactly where we're going, if you've got some way of tracking the location, that must mean there's something there, and that's always of interest to us in the Red Fleet.
We do have access to a map of the ocean floor.
A map? Well, now we're talking.
I mean, we got a copy of that from Kagan, didn't we? Or do we have to go back there and get it noted?
You can, he said he'd lend you the device.
Yeah. Okay, well, I pretty much just, I do actually show that just to give him the sort of rundown of where we're planning on going.
So he regards the map and looks over and he says, oh, these are the vents here?
Yep, those dots, those red dots or whatever. I think with the red dots, yeah.
And he sort of moves to the hologram and he goes, well, what's this fuzzy area here? This isn't a rock formation. What is it?
What was that bit?
I don't think Kagan knew what that was either.
Yeah, I think he said it was like some sort of anomaly, wasn't it?
Anomaly? Well, that sounds certainly of interest to us. I just hope it doesn't,
Doesn't
we're not
come
going
to
to
try
run
and eat
afoul.
us.
Lad, I wouldn't
Yeah.
be worried. Lad, I wouldn't be worried about that eating you. That would be less of my. That wouldn't be my first concern. It'll probably kill you long before it eats you.
Hmm. But yeah, okay. So 10 chins for each of us, I guess.
Captain,
Aye.
you said 10 shins, per person.
Aye, that's correct.
Well, I kind of heard on the harbour decks sort of thing that a Captain Stritney was offering 5 shins. What's to stop us going back there?
He puts his pipe in his mouth and takes a long draw. That harlot Stritney, if she's gotten to you on this, I'll tell you what, you could go with Stritney. I'm amazed that her submachine even stays in the water. A horrible vessel it is. This is the guarantee. If you come with me, and I'll do it for 8 shins. But I'll tell you what though, if you go with Stritney, you won't get back. And he sort of puts his pipe in and crosses his arms. And you sort of see one of his crew members, well, a couple of his crew members, sort of sneer along with him, and the guy that looks like a first mate just sort of going, "Don't mention Stritney. Don't mention Stritney."
I'm fine paying your way for this, Elendar, by the way.
No. I believe this Captain Ieza, you made a good point. Stritney's ship was a ton of crap.
Oh yeah, yeah. It was just as a man of mechanical prowess, I was heartbroken seeing that vessel in such a state.
Aye, lads, and what about the captain herself? Ravishing though she is, but horrible character. Toys with men's emotions. And the first mate's still just sitting there going, "Why did you mention Stritney? Why did you mention Stritney?"
I kind of just whisper across the blogs, it's just like, actually, that other ship's sounding pretty good right now.
What, another wife for him? Do we need one in every city?
Yes. Why is that a question?
Yeah, I don't know why I asked that. I'm fine with this deal. This definitely sounds like the better shot for us. Elendar, Blugs, you agree on this?
Well, I trust this captain as far as I could throw him, which happens to be a really long way. This ship will work.
You just meet me under the water and we'll see how tough you are then, lad. But I think we've got a deal.
I'm
8
always
shins ahead.
tough.
8 shins ahead, and we can set sail whenever you like.
Oh, 2 on flex check. Ouch.
And he sort of looks at you and goes, "Well, landlubber, let's just hope that your sea legs are better than your arm muscles." Okay,
Alright.
so you have gotten access to his ship. So
Yeah.
you got well, Elendar at least is sorting out a guilds option. What about the other 2 of you? What would you like to do to sort out your? Even with the guilds, you'll need some sort of protection from the heat. But there is, yeah, you've got options there. And you also still need some sort of method of breathing.
In
Yeah.
addition, Scrapper, I did actually pay the shins. I haggled it down so that I could actually afford it.
Okay, so now you're basically now at 0.
I have 1.
1. Okay. Plenty.
Brilliant.
Yeah, the problem is that now with that, I don't have enough for the suit. I'm probably going to have to sell something.
Did you have enough for the? Did you want the full suit, or did you want the bubble
Well,
wrap?
the bubble wrap's fine, but I need a way to breathe as well. So the hard suit is going to be the best option for that. I'm not getting gills. That's final. I'm not getting organic upgrades. Scrapper really does not like organic upgrades.
Question: how many rings did we have left over yesterday after?
One, two. No, we had
One.
two.
And
Oh,
one
sorry,
of which
yes,
was the shiny bauble.
We had the shiny bauble one and the brass ring, which was kind of that's like not worth a lot.
Well, you thought you could maybe get 5-10 shins for it.
Yeah, so
So if you go to
that
the
would be
market-
enough for me to get a suit and maybe even grab myself a spear as well, because I'm not going to be able to use a crossbow underwater as much as I'd like to break physics in this planet.
Who says you can't mechanize it so that you could?
I would if I knew a way.
OGM, is there a way?
You're probably better off. Weapons for underwater are actually reasonably cheap. If you go back to Elstozera, you've got a couple of options there. There's a couple of harpoons and things that you can buy reasonably cheaply. It's probably easier to purchase something like specialized rather than re-engineer it all.
Yeah, that's what I thought. It was going to be costing a bit too much to do that to my crossbow. So, yeah, maybe like actually, what would a harpoon be counted as, a medium or light weapon?
You can get an elbow harpoon it's a sort of propelled harpoon that will act as a medium weapon. You can get that for 8 shins back at Elsto's.
You can get propeller jets on your legs.
Oh, that'd be cool. Okay, so what I'm thinking of doing is selling my synth steel helmet to make up for the extra cost as well. I think.
That was the one with the tentacle thing?
Yeah,
Actually,
possibly.
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
After all this time, have we actually managed to get the that suit of armor refitted and shaped for Blocks yet?
Nope.
Wait, which armor?
No.
I
that you
stole a
got
suit of
all the way
armor
back
from
Yeah.
that dude who we were supposed to not kill, but that we totally killed.
The guy
Oh,
way
right.
back in the tower, the spinneret. Well, I wasn't there for that, but I know
Oh,
what
that
happened.
guy. Yes, I remember that guy. Yeah. So
Yeah, that big knight dude up the top.
Who we just rolled obscenely well against.
That's
it's
the
like,
one, yes.
3 20s in a row or something like that. We just absolutely just kicked the shit out of him. So just like, well, that was meant to take longer.
Yeah, you steamrolled him.
Oh, actually, that's a point. Could that suit of armor be re-sealed, reforged and stuff, and turned into one of those iron armors with like the full air canister breathing thing?
Or you could just trade it.
Think it just trade it.
Probably best to just trade it.
To answer your question, you could have it reforged, which would be
That
Oh,
sounds expensive.
it would be expensive, or you could just trade it because it's worth probably more intact as it is because it was quite ornate and everything.
I mean, I could do it once I get my metalworking stuff sorted out in terms of learning that stuff, but even then, that's like a combination of metalworking and engineering to get that to work out. Which if I actually took the time to learn that stuff, I would actually be able to do it, but I don't.
And a lot of caulking.
Yeah,
Lots of caulking.
lots of caulking. But yeah, because that armor could probably go towards a suit for Blargs, but it's still a suit for me that we need to get as well.
Oh, we can turn up and see how much. It's quite an ornate suit. It's a lovely suit. It's a brilliant suit of armor. Everybody wants this suit of armor. Check it out. You paid 300 shins for it. 300? Do I hit 320? Oh, great. Let's do this.
Alright, we'll try selling some stuff we don't need then.
Apparently, Blags the character had a side job working as a auctioneer when nobody was paying attention.
It's another skill that you picked up while you were jumping around in the desert.
No, no. See, this was Blogs' auctioneering activity. Was just like, do I hear blogs? Do I hear more blogs? Blogs raised.
He did end up owing himself 320 shins.
That's okay. I'm good for the payment. Eventually.
An IOU to himself.
Yeah. I'll be good for the payment once I sell the suit of armor.
That's fine. I just had to pay it back to myself 1 shin at a time. It took a very long time that way.
I still have the 16 shins worth of scraps as well. I can actually just sell that too.
Okay,
That was
so
while I was
these
that was while I was in the tomb. Picked that up while I was
the
going through
16
the
shins
stuff.
worth of scraps you can sell just anyway. You can just sort of go around to market vendors and
Yeah, I'm
Can
pretty much
offer-
just going to do that because with that I'll have enough for definitely the suit and maybe the weapon as well.
With the suit of armor, you're probably best just doing that as a direct trade with Elsto. He can appraise it, and so if you go back to Elsto's, he can probably give you a direct offer on that. Just trade it, for goods rather than do it for any costing. And while you're there, you can also get the genetic sample that you need.
Okay.
So you head back to Elsto's, and you enter in there, and he says, and he sort of looks up and with you goes, "Oh, gentlemen, did you speak to our medicine man? Did you speak to Frund?"
We did. And Alandar has something he'd like to ask.
Okay, this is me speaking as a player, not a character. Dear GM, may I please spend experience to get permanent tentacles?
What?
I think we could do permanent tentacles. I could do permanent tentacles much more readily than I can do permanent gills. So the way we can do it is you can spend the skill, and as a side effect of Frund's concoction, you can remain having sort of tentacle bits hanging off your legs that will be prehensile. You'll be able to hold objects with them. They won't be particularly long, but they will also help you. They will help you propel yourself underwater. It'll be a side effect of Frund's concoction.
I believe that is a good trade. But yes, Elsto, as part of the deal with Frond, apparently require a thing called a genetic sample.
You can address his wife directly. She's sitting there.
Sorry. My lady, wife, person, sorry. Apparently I need a genetic sample from you, and I don't know what that entails.
She sort of looks you up and down and says, "Genetic sample? Well, that can mean many things. Would a scale suffice?"
Maybe? I think so.
Well, it's a
She's sort of-
sample of something something of which you are made. Really, a scale should be enough. A scale, or a hair, or a fingernail.
She sort of looks at you and says, "Gentlemen, just turn around for a moment." And you hear her sort of shift around in her seat, and then you sort of hear her go, "Ow!" And you hear her sort of splash something around in the water for a bit, and you turn back, and she's holding one of the scales off of her legs from where one of the sort of fins is joined on. You can see that the scale is quite, it's quite sort of a decent size, and still has a slight edge of skin on the end of it with a little bit of blood on it. She says, "Take this with you," and she sort of wraps it in a tissue and, in a bit of paper and hands it to you.
Thank you. I didn't realize that was going to be as painful as that. I'm sorry.
And she looks at you and just says, "More people should experience the wonder of the deep, even if my family is sometimes a bit cagey about the matter. I hope it serves you well." Elsto's been sort of watching you all as you do this, and then just sort of says, "So, you gentlemen gonna buy anything from the rest of this?"
Yeah, I was hoping for getting that suit of armor you were mentioning. Oh, he just dropped. I think Red just dropped the call. Or dropped from the call.
Yeah.
From
He'll be back in a
memory,
sec.
yeah.
I'm
From
back,
memory,
I think
no,
Tab just
It's all
loaded on
back.
me.
Yeah, it dropped. Sorry, I thought you were saying?
I was just saying, from memory, the suit gave everything, but the bubble wrap gave
Just the
pressure
protection.
resist.
Okay, the suit acts as it doesn't give you breathing. It gives you buoyancy, pressure control, heat and cold protection, and acts as heavy armor. The bubble wrap does heat and cold, buoyancy, pressure, but can be worn over light armor. For breathing, your choices are: you can buy an external water breather, which creates a seal over your mouth and filters oxygen out of the water for 10 hours. That's 20 shins. Or you can get an internal one, which is an injectable thing, which will let you natively breathe water for 6 hours.
Or be a gill man.
Or be a gill man.
Okay, so the bubble wrap
So
was
the external filter and the internal filter are one-time use items.
Yeah.
The other option is you can buy a spray breather, which is like a canister that you can reapply.
Okay, so the bubble wrap was 20 shins, right?
Yes.
Okay, so that plus the breathing apparatus, the outbound one that I can just place on my mouth, was okay, so that
40
makes
all
it
up.
pretty much 40 all up, which I can afford. That's good. That sounds like something I should do because because it goes on top of my light armor and I wear light armor, so that would actually be most useful for me, and I can use the shins I have remaining towards the harpoon. You said it was 8 shins, yeah?
Yep. And that's an elbow harpoon, short distance propelled harpoon, returns to you through a cable retrieval system. So it's on a...
That looks like a plan to me because that uses up every last one of my shins for that to happen. Every last one. I'll be literally on 0 after this.
How many things of yours do you have that fire things?
I've got my buzzer and actually no, I actually won't need a harpoon. I don't know if my cellular disruptor works underwater. That's the thing.
Well, you could always try it. It would work, but you'd need to roll the... You'd need to roll a depletion on it, and knowing your luck, it would probably deplete the first time you fire it underwater.
Yes, you know me too well. That's why I need a backup weapon. So, crossbow is probably not going to be as effective underwater, considering that there's a lot of resistance. So therefore, the bolt wouldn't travel very far. And same problem with the buzzer as well. So I've still got knives, but that's really close range, and for something that's going to be potentially able to swim, it's going to be pretty quick. So I'm going to need something that will hit him quickly, like the harpoon gun. I'm thinking I should get that.
Blargs, if you trade in the armor, you'll be able to get everything you need. That'll get you a dive suit, a weapon called a K-Wold, which is very similar to a Great Axe.
Yes.
But it's more hydrodynamic. And
Excellent.
we'll get you an external water breather.
Okay, I throw away my I throw away my armor, not my money.
Okay, you
Sounds
dump the
like
armor out of the counter.
Trade for me for another, essentially an axe.
It's a hydro axe.
And Elendar, you've got your breathing and maneuverability sorted out. You'll need some sort of heat protection and any weapons if you'd like, or you can just rely on your nano powers.
Yeah, that's the thing. I don't actually know how well gravity works underwater.
I'd say quite well. Gravity's, I don't know. I'd say gravity's would be pretty strong closer to the core of the planet, right?
You're not that deep.
I mean, this isn't the Marianas Trench.
And gravity actually gets weaker the closer you are to the core of the planet, because there's less mass.
Yeah, good point.
I'm going to need to do something. First off, though, as Scrapper, Blargs, and Zipper are sorting things out, I'm going to make my way back to Frund, because I hope he has something for me, because I can't afford anything else.
So you make your way back up to the hill to Frund, and he says, "Ah, mortal, you have returned." And he takes the scale from you. And, yes, this will do nicely. And sort of disappears into his shack for a bit, and you hear a couple of strange noises and smell a couple of seawatery scents as he comes out and brings it up to you. This sort of frothing concoction in a vial that he, sort of almost like a Coke can sized vial that he lets froth for a second, and then he jams a stopper into the top of, and he says, "Consume that, and you will have the powers of the ocean. But bring me my Garawan."
Oh, great and mighty Frond, I require your aid once more. I don't.
And he looks at you for a second, and he gestures to the bag that had all the food in it.
I open the bag up to him.
He pulls out another of your rations. He goes, "Continue."
In order to get the Garawan, I must venture deep under the ocean, close to the thermal fence of the sea floor. I don't suppose you have something to protect me against the intense bone-crushing pressure and the skin-melting, burning heat.
He sort of considers for a minute and looks at you, and then he just grins. He disappears back in his hut and comes out with another canister. This one's about the size of a paint tin, and it's clear, and he sort of cracks the top of it. And he says, "This is... Look, I don't want to, cast aspersions on some of the creatures of the deep, but some of them truly are disgusting animals. This is whale bloat blubber." And he sort of reaches his hand into it and pulls it out. It's like this grease, fat stuff, and you notice it sort of clings to his fingers, and he does it. He says, "If you slather yourself up with this will keep you, it will protect you from the heat and the pressure, but I wouldn't eat it, because trust me, if I could eat this, I'd have eaten it, and I wouldn't go out for a night of the town looking for the ladies while covered in it, but it should suffice." And he gives you the can. It's not real water soluble, but should protect you from heat for a bit and keep you airtight. But it's not good for the skin, so don't keep it on for more than a few hours. So that'll protect you for about 3 hours.
3 hours. Cool. Just out of curiosity, Ninth World whales, how terrifying and weird are they?
Well, he said it was from a whale boat.
Oh. What? A whale boat?
A whale boat. Which is something you've never heard of.
No.
Yet. Okay. Anyway, we might call it there now that you appear to all be geared up to the degree that you need to survive your underwater jaunt. Well,
Yeah.
at least begin your underwater jaunt. I'll put no guarantees on surviving, so I might call it there for this session.
I still wanted to steal the steel helmet, by the way. What did I get offered for that? Since steel helmet.
With the tentacle.
Yeah.
Alright. As that's an artifact, it's reasonably valuable. I'll have to have a look up how much I can give you for that, but before the next session, I'll get you some value for that. Just because I'll have to generate that one.
Okay.